my friends, Amy Esther here, and today we are talking about the third trimester of pregnancy with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS. Now, I'm going to share with you my experience with pregnancy, my third trimester in particular. Can't believe that I'm making this video. I remember when I made my first trimester video, and wow, it just feels like it was not that long ago, but also feels like the longest 9 months ever. It's the weirdest thing. Pregnancy is so long and so fast at the same time. I don't even know, my friends. But I'm almost 38 weeks pregnant, and I wanted to share with you my experience with the third trimester before my baby comes, because I'm definitely going to be a little busy once he's here and not be able to record this video for you. If you've missed my other POTS and pregnancy videos, I have one for the first and second trimester. I will link them down below. And I have actually documented my entire pregnancy. I've done a pregnancy update every single Friday of my entire pregnancy. So if you want the week by week, the real time, what's happening with my pregnancy and POTS, and I also have several other chronic illnesses, I will link that in the description below. But today we're just going to talk about the third trimester with POTS. And if you have not been here before, I have several chronic illnesses, of course, including POTS, and been pregnant this whole time. So if you want more about my life with chronic illness, I make videos multiple times a week about how to do all the things while living with chronic illness. So subscribe to my channel. You don't want to miss any of my upcoming videos, or head over to my Instagram where I post regularly over there as well with tips and tricks and all the things about living life with chronic illness and particularly POTS. Man, I'm out of breath. Y'all, I feel like any of these videos I've done here at the end of my pregnancy, I am cutting out some time in every video for me to just breathe, because I cannot breathe with this baby. He is so gigantic. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing I want to tell you is that it's not dangerous to have a baby when you have POTS. I think a lot of people are worried about that because our blood does not circulate well. But first of all, I'm not a doctor, just sharing my experience from what I know, what I've talked to my doctor about, my own research. Talk to your own doctor about anything before you get pregnant. Make sure you talk to your doctor. But from my experience and what I know, it is not dangerous for the baby. The baby has their own blood supply. And a lot of people, because of that, because there's all this extra blood, because naturally when you're pregnant, you actually produce more blood for the baby. Because of that, a lot of people feel better when they are pregnant who have POTS, because there's extra blood in your system, and it's getting that blood up to that top half of your body a little bit better because there's a baby in there that's pulling it all up, right? I assume if you're watching this, by the way, that you have POTS or you know what it is. But if you don't, I do have a video all about POTS. I'll link that down below. But basically, our blood does not circulate well. And when you have a baby, it can help with that. So a lot of people experience more energy, better, less blood pooling when they're pregnant. Something for me is I still wear compression socks. I wear them all the time, but I still wear them my entire pregnancy. Now, I find that they help not only with my POTS, but they help with my normal pregnancy symptoms too. So it's kind of nice. Like, I know a lot of people who don't have POTS and they still wear compression socks just because that helps with the pregnancy symptoms. I really thought with my daughter, when I had her, I thought that I didn't gain a lot of water weight until I gave birth to her and my socks didn't fit. So this time around, I'm planning on buying new socks after, because I wear compression socks, yet once I give birth, I lose all that water weight and my legs shrink and they're not tight anymore. So that's one little tip, is make sure after your pregnancy you get yourself some new socks. And we'll talk about my plans for after pregnancy in just a minute. But that is something that I do my whole pregnancy, is I wear compression socks. And I find that I don't have to buy new ones until I'm done with the pregnancy, because my legs get bigger, they get tighter, and it just works really good. Because usually I have to buy new socks every couple of months because they get worn out, because I wear them literally every single day. But when I'm pregnant, I actually don't until I'm done with the pregnancy, because I just keep getting bigger and it just works. So in my third trimester, I definitely still wear compression socks every single day. Another thing that I've experienced, which I feel like is probably somewhat POTS related because it is a blood issue, is I get really anemic with my pregnancies. This one has been, if you followed along, you know, it's been rough. It has been so rough. This is honestly the best I have felt in months, and I am almost done with this pregnancy. I'm almost 38 weeks, and this is the best that I felt like my whole pregnancy because I've just been so anemic, and finally my iron and my B12 levels are getting back up there. But I've dealt with this with both my pregnancies of being anemic, and it's hard for my body to get those levels back up. My baby has taken all of my nutrients, which is good. He's healthy, but it makes me very, very exhausted. So that is something that this third trimester has been the worst of the worst, is fatigue. Like, not just like, oh, I'm extra tired after I do the dishes, I need to lay down for an hour. No, like I wake up and I need to lay back down. Like I probably was laying down like this last trimester until really this last week. I was laying down probably like 90% of my day, like laying it down completely flat. My heart rate would get super high when I'd stand up. My blood pressure would get really low, and I just had no energy at all from this anemia mixed with POTS and all the things. It's just been really, really rough. Another thing that I have dealt with this third trimester is extreme thirst, which I always feel extra thirsty. I always contribute that to my POTS, and it might just be POTS. But I talked to my doctor about it. He had me do a urine test where he tested my urine for 24 hours. And it turns out I was drinking more water than I was going to the bathroom. And I was going to the bathroom way more than I should have. I think I went like 4.5 liters in 24 hours, which is way more than normal. The jug that they give you to fill up is 3 liters. So I ended up having to get 2 of those. And I had joked with my doctor before I did the test that like, oh, what if I fill this up? And he's like, oh, people don't fill that up. But if you did, just come back and get one. And I filled up the second one. So I filled up 1.5 of those. And so because of that, my doctor actually wants me to get tested for diabetes insipidus, which is totally different than like type 1, type 2 diabetes, which deals with your insulin. It's actually a hormone in your kidneys that tells your body to stop producing urine, basically. So if I were to stop drinking water, I would still have to go to the bathroom, and I'd get dehydrated a lot faster than other people. My body just would have, if I have this, I don't know yet, my body would just not know to stop producing urine, basically. And it just doesn't know how to handle its fluids. So from what my doctor said is in order to officially test for this, you can't be pregnant because they actually have to like dehydrate you, which can be super dangerous for the baby. In fact, it's dangerous for you anyway. You have to do it in the hospital so that they can, get you on IVs as soon as the test is over. But, sorry, out of breath again. Whew. Okay. You guys, I'm gonna make it through this video. I am just exhausted, but part of being pregnant and part of living with POTS, both of the things. So anyway, that could be something that is making my POTS worse. We don't actually know. Again, I can't test for it till after I'm done being pregnant, but that is something that's come up during this third trimester, which is why I mention it. And I do think it's somehow related to POTS because it is an issue with fluids and like blood volume, which is what POTS is, right? So I don't know if that is related to POTS or not, or if it's making my POTS worse, or if I even have it. We don't really know. And I had a few people ask me if I get banana bags when I'm pregnant. I haven't. I feel like I've done okay. I am thirsty all the time, but I don't feel like I've really needed them. And so my doctor has never recommended that I get those, so I don't get those. But that's definitely an option if you're dealing with not having enough fluids. I take salt pills. I actually have a whole video, I'll just link it down below, of the supplements I take while I'm pregnant that have helped me with my POTS. But I do take salt pills and electrolytes and those types of things to kind of keep my blood volume up. I have had still pretty low blood pressure. If you watched my second trimester, I talked about this, but my blood pressure is still a little bit low. The salt pills do help. But my doctor said just because of the POTS, that's just kind of something that I will always deal with my pregnancies, is just having lower blood pressure. It's not dangerously low, but it is lower than normal. And he said it's probably just POTS causing POTS mixed with pregnancy, and just something that I deal with my pregnancies. Something I've really struggled with this pregnancy is exercising, because I've been so anemic and so sick, so fatigued. I just have not had the energy to exercise. I barely have the energy to not make my house turn into a disaster and, keep my child entertained. Barely have the energy for that. So I have not kept up on exercise, which I think has definitely made things worse, made my POTS worse. I do much better when I exercise regularly. Walking has been really hard. It's hard normally when you have POTS, but I've had a lot of pain. The bigger my belly gets, the more pain I experience when I walk. So just moving around in general has been pretty hard this last trimester. And I think that's something normal with any pregnancy, but it makes it really hard with POTS, because at least for me with POTS, I need to kind of switch from laying down to moving around, and then laying down and then moving around. Makes me feel a lot better. It helps my POTS symptoms a lot when I do that. And so it's been definitely making me have more flare-ups, because I haven't been able to be consistent with my exercising. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm having a contraction right now. Look at that. Whew, that is very tight. Ow. Okay, well, maybe this baby's coming today. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think he is. It's not like super painful where I think it's like a real contraction, but definitely Braxton Hicks or something is happening, because I am feeling some pain and some tightness in my belly right now. Another thing that's kind of been tough this last trimester is that I haven't been eating very good. My SIBO, I have a small intestine bacterial overgrowth, which is very common when you have POTS. It gets a lot better to the end of my pregnancy, and so I kind of sometimes go crazy and just want to eat some good, yummy food that I don't normally get to eat, which whenever I eat too many carbs or sugar, my POTS flares up. And so honestly, that's like my fault. But I'm already so sick that I don't know. That's bad. I shouldn't say that, but I am. I'm already just so fatigued and so tired that I don't eat very good the last trimester, because I don't know. I let myself treat a little bit. So I don't know. Judge me if you want, but that's kind of where I'm at. I am going to try and focus on my gut health after I have this baby. That is one of my goals for this next year. So I will keep you guys updated on that. But right now while I'm pregnant, not eating so good. And I have a lot of people ask me about my plans for after the baby. Like I said, gut health, that's kind of like my number one thing that I want to focus on over the next year, is really working on my gut health. And then also getting back into an exercise routine, going back to the normal treatments that I do. I had people ask me if I was going to go on medications or anything. No, I am not a big fan of medications for POTS. I don't feel like they're very necessary in most cases, because there's so many natural things you can do. I would always recommend trying the natural things first. In fact, I have a whole video about natural things on my channel that you can go watch about natural treatments for POTS. And wow, still having this contraction. This is a long one. Anyway, so I have, that's kind of my plan, is to go back to my natural treatments, but really mainly focus on exercise and my gut health. So those are my plans for after having baby. If you want to see, what happens postpartum, I'm doing a weekly pregnancy update. And then I'm also going to do some postpartum updates every week for the first 6 weeks, and share everything my labor and delivery story. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos as they come out. I have loved sharing my pregnancy with you. I cannot believe it's almost over. In fact, by the time you see this, probably will already have my baby. So crazy. I'm trying to get ahead on videos because I want to still bring out lots of content for you. But might be a little busy when I have babies. So I do have a few videos like this that I'm recording before I have the baby that will go out after, which that's so crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm just so excited. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment below if you have any more advice for me or anyone else dealing with POTS and pregnancy. You guys are amazing. Love you. See you next time.